when we kind of move on from the story itself, kind of as to what happened afterwards, that kind of narrative and that response is still incredibly prevalent and basically what happened.
Okay.
So it was totally believed. This was amazing. Wow, what a phenomenal story. There was other people, other witnesses to collaborate this story. All of this sort of stuff going on. It was in the news. It was everywhere, right? Everyone knew about it. X-Files picked it up as an episode. It was a pretty
that's my show
deal.
Back in the day, man. I love me some Fox Mulder,
X-Files,
man.
X-Files, yeah. So it's pretty amazing. And he mentioned Kelly's story in that episode. It was like episode 11, season 1 or 2 or something like that.
Oh, I tell you
but
what,
if you want to go check that out. I know, yeah. We were X-Files fans too, 100%. And so super, super positive. And then all of a sudden, 180, total hoax, it was all rubbish, da-da-da-da-da. So just to give you the kind of overview of what's happened after that story kind of emerged and over the few years, 22 years to be precise as to kind of when that happened.
Wow.
So basically what happened was Kelly was totally thrown by this event, didn't know what to do, started trying to research and reach out to people. Number one, she reached out to the local university, and they were like, wow, you probably need to go and talk to the aviation group. So she spoke to the local aviation, and they went, wow, you probably need to go and speak to a ufologist or someone that deals with that sort of stuff. Right. So she ended up getting put onto a gentleman called Bill Chalker. Bill Chalker is very, very well known in the ufology circles through Australia. He is deemed the Aussie premier of ufology. He has been in it for years. He is one of the original founders of a lot of the associations through Australia. He's been involved with MUFON for many years and has been one of the main contacts through Australia, or the main contact for 10 years or so through MUFON. And he was also the coordinator of the New South Wales UFO Investigation Centre. So he's been involved for a long time, and he was her touchstone. So on the 4th of October, she contacted Bill and had this full-on conversation. He flew out to see her, sat down with her and had a really good discussion, and ended up going out to the site of the location that it happened and all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of photographic evidence of him with her at the site and looking at kind of what happened. So some other things you need to know about Bill. Bill is an honest student in science, right? So he has a science degree from the University of New England. He majored in chemistry and maths. Whoa. So he's a clever guy, right? He knows what he's doing when it comes to chemical elements, transitions, transformation, all that sort of stuff. He was a lab manager for many years. He worked as an industrial chemist as well. So when it comes to finding ground material, all of that sort of evidence that we tend to find after a UFO has landed and kind of left some sort of trace, he was the guy to do that kind of analysis, or at least understand the results, right? And be able to kind of show what those results are and connect the dots and all that sort of stuff. So he was very interested in this because, number one, it's a UFO encounter, but number two, look at all the chemical traces and the evidence that's left behind. So he went out, spent a lot of time with Kelly, and decided that because he was in New South Wales, which is, you know this, Joe, quite far away from Victoria, he decided that he would get the group called the PRA, which is the Phenomena Research Australia group on board. And that was run or headed by a guy called John Archulette, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to screw that name out.
I butcher names all the time, man. Just pretend.
Sorry, John.
Just what I do. Like John Belushi, baby. Just keep on rolling.
John Archulette. Archulette. No, we go French on it. Archulette. Sorry, John. Anyway, so John was part of we'll call them the PRA, which is pretty well known. If you Google search the PRA, you'll come up with the Phenomena Research Australia group. So John was well known, right? He had done conferences, UFO conferences, all sorts of stuff. He was a keynote speaker. He'd been in ufology for a fair amount of years by that point. So Bill was like, absolutely, this is, the Victorian kind of, version of what he was doing. They've been in it for a long time. They're well reputable. We'll pass it on to John. John and Kelly had numerous conversations. John was like, yep, let's take this on board, let's run with it, and let's go hard on it. So essentially, this is where it gets murky. So that was wonderful. Bill's got a lot of information from what Kelly had told him initially, right? He's got all of those first kind of transcripts and the information that Kelly gave him. He passed all that on to John, not a problem. And then it went to shit. So basically, John said, yeah, man, I'll do it all, but I'm going to compartmentalize everything. We're all unsure why he decided to compartmentalize everything. His view was, I don't want evidence to affect stories, right? So sure, Kelly's going to change her story once she knows that there was another witness. Kelly's going to change her story once she knows that there was chemical traces found on the ground, that sort of stuff. To begin with, I was like, yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't you do that? Makes sense. If you're a detective and you're investigating a case, you want to make sure that not everyone has all the information, just, be able to be independent and have your own, be able to build that document up and that report up so that it's not interfered with and it's not, whatever. Anyway, so as they went along, John, and I'll tell you what John has told Bill and has told Kelly, right?
Subscribe now and turn on the notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.